In this video, we're going to talk about the 5 biggest mistakes rank and rent newbies always make. I'm James Cook. I talk about investing in digital real estate and creating a real online business. If you like that type of information, definitely click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my new videos that come out. So the first mistake that I see a lot of newbies make is actually that they rush their niche selection and the location selection. So rush, niche, and location. And this is important because if you pick too competitive of a niche, which most newbies do, like roofing, right, or water damage, everyone rushes into these niches because they hear, oh, these are good high-paying niches, and they are. But if you go into that niche, you have to understand as a newbie, this is going to take longer to rank in. And then when you couple that with a location like a big city like New York City, if you're going into New York, Los Angeles, these big cities, Chicago, it's going to be very competitive and it's going to take a much longer time to rank. So the city that you're picking and the niche you're picking, you want to be smart about. And that's what we try to teach in our training is if you're a newbie, let's start with a unique niche. Let's really start thinking outside the box. And let's start with a location that there's a decent size there, but it's not a huge city. Now, if you get a really unique niche that you know about and you go into a big city, it could still work out, of course. We have a student that's in a city that's about 450,000 population, which is a decent size. And within that city, he picked a very unique niche. So within a month, he started getting calls from his Rank and Rent website, which is amazing. That's not always the case. That doesn't always just happen. Now, if he would have went into roofing in that same city, I can tell you this, it would have took him probably 8 months to start getting calls because it's very competitive roofing in the city that he went into. So just keep in mind, think about that. If you're a newbie thinking about getting into this, understand that going into very competitive niches in big cities is going to take time. Now, can you rank? Of course, we're in some competitive niches in some big cities, but I also understand this, been doing this for a while, and I have the patience to wait. If you're a newbie, what we want to do is be able to throw up as many as we can of these type of sites in unique niches in good size locations where we have the best bet to actually start seeing some results. This is a real business. It takes real work. Not every single site you throw up and niche you go into is going to be a golden moneymaker, right? That's just part of the game. But if you could put up 10 sites and let's say 5 or 6 of them are making you money, I'm sure you'll be happy with that. And then what you would want to do is just rinse and repeat and keep building and treating it like a real business. So the second mistake I see a lot of people do is they get into Rank and Rent, and what they start doing is they'll build these sites out, but their on-page optimization on their website and on their Google My Business is not up to par. When I review people's sites, they say, hey, I'm not making it past the 3rd page, my GMB is not ranking, and it's been 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. So I'll look at it, I'll be okay, what niche and location are we into? What does the competitive level look like, right? And then I'm looking at their site and their GMB, and I see that nothing's really optimized correctly. So you wanna make sure that you are optimizing everything from your site to your GMB, linking everything together, making sure your images, your headings, your titles, your content that you have on the site is optimized and looking like a real brand. So it's very important. I see this happening all the time where you think that you have things optimized, but it's really not optimized correctly. So 2, on-page optimization is weak. The third thing that a lot of people do is they underestimate the competition. And it comes back to both of these things. When I was talking about you rushing into a niche that's very popular, you're going into a big city, and then you're wondering why you're not ranking right away. Well, the competition, there's so many other sites that are going for the same exact keywords that have age domains, a lot of content, and they're just have a lot of powerful linking coming in. Now you can compete with them, but you're gonna have to rinse and repeat what they're doing, right? Reverse engineering what they're doing, getting same type of quality links, letting your site age a little bit. On-page optimization, definitely done strong and correctly, internal linking, you can compete, but you also have to understand it's going to take time to compete in that. And I think a lot of people get discouraged because they rush in, they underestimate the competition. So it's very important to look at who's on page one, how many links they have, how powerful are the links, how old are their domains, how many competitors are really optimized with their GMBs and their websites, and then go from there and do an analysis and try to understand, am I going to be able to slip in here? How long is it going to take? If you do want to compete in those niches and locations, and you're okay with waiting sometimes 8 months or a year because you know it can be a good payoff, then that's fine. But if you're looking for something where you're going to rank within 3 months, then I would say definitely don't go down that rabbit hole because you're underestimating the competition. So the third one is underestimating competition. The fourth one is not outreaching enough. And I'm going to explain what I mean by this. Not outreaching enough. So remember, this is a real business model. So when you start building out these rank and rent or local lead generation properties, and they start getting leads and calls coming in, you have to have a system in place that you're actually following, where you're actually outreaching to potential clients that are going to buy these leads from you or rent the website from you. And I see a lot of students, they get caught up where they're not outreaching. They just think someone's gonna come to them, and that's not going to happen. It doesn't matter if your site is getting 10 or 20 calls per day. If you're not outreaching and building relationships, and you're just wasting time and waiting around, this is not going to make money on its own. Again, this is a real business concept, and you have to really treat it like a real business. As you're building these properties, the number one thing is getting your niche and location correct, right? Building up these properties, throwing them up, the ones that start performing, now outreaching and finding clients that you can make money with. And what are you doing? It's a win-win for everyone. You're helping them build their business, they're actually helping you build your business, and you're both staying busy and building a real relationship. You can build relationships even when you're out, telling people what you do. This is a good way to just start conversations of what you do. You never know what they do, you never know who they know, what kind of business they have, local business they might have, where you can actually build a relationship and start working together. So I see it a lot of times where people are just either afraid or they just believe that they have an asset just because it's ranking and leads are starting coming, that it's going to be easy where someone's going to call them. That's not how it works. It happens with us too. We have systems in place where we are outreaching constantly, following up, because that's what it really takes, and that's the truth. But once you find the right person who wants to grow, build a real business, guess what? Now it's a win-win situation and money is made on both ends. So last but not least, which is my favorite one, is everyone relies on one asset. What I mean by that is everyone thinks they're just gonna get one golden asset and it's that easy. They don't realize that, again, this is a real business and we're looking to scale and grow. We're looking to get as many properties as we can up. Not everyone's gonna hit and make crazy money, right? Every niche is different. That's why you do take your time with your niche and location selection, and we have like a little system that we use to try to find the best ones that we can actually hit home runs with, but sometimes we are going to strike out. We understand that. But that's why the more properties and assets you build, the better chance you have for some of them to be home runs. And that's why we always say you're not going to rely on one asset. You want to have a system and formula where you can get good at building these and outsourcing certain things and getting quick at doing your research and getting things outsourced so that you can keep throwing these up, keep building, keep on your outreach, getting clients that can rent out or buy some leads, and you just keep building this and scaling it as a real business. Okay, that's the concept here. Too many people think, oh, I'm gonna have this one site, it's just gonna make me a whole bunch of money, and that's not the case. And even if you did get one site, and let's say it started making you $2,000 or $3,000 a month, now that might be your goal. You have to rinse and repeat and understand not every website that you build is going to be an asset that produces like that. It might be an asset that only produces 300 or 400. But guess what? That's still a win. And then it might be an asset that strikes out. Okay, move on, maybe sell it. Then there might be another one that's 1,000. The idea here is to keep on building and not rely on one asset. If you're just getting into it to rely on one asset and you think some one local asset is just going to do it for you, depending on your goals, if it's something where you're just trying to make a little extra money, okay, maybe it will work for you. But I do not suggest getting into this type of business if you're not looking to produce these assets and treat it like a real business so that you can build and scale and have these win-win relationships with local business owners that will continue to pay you, especially when you get your assets up, ranking and generating leads, and they're very low maintenance. So for you, the overhead is just continuing to build out, outreach, and keep producing. It is an amazing digital real estate concept, the local lead generation business concept, and it does work, but you have to work it and treat it like a real business. So these are the 5 main mistakes that I see a lot of students rush into, and a lot of people that want to get into the local lead gen space and rank and rent. And when they get in, they're just doing these couple things the wrong way. They're not avoiding certain things. They're rushing into things. They're thinking it's not going to require too much work. Again, this requires work. So I hope you learned a couple key things today in this video. I'm actually going to leave an actual checklist down below in the links in the description where you can get my rank and rent and local lead gen checklist. It's absolutely for free, so I'll leave that in there. If you do like this content, definitely give me a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.